What's up, guys? Brendan back here again today with another review of WandaVision, and today we are reviewing episode 5 titled On a Very Special Episode, and indeed, it was a very, very special episode. I'm like, holy crap, some stuff goes down here in this episode. I mean, like, after last week's episode, some of the stars and producers were teasing that, you know, there's going to be some big stuff happening going forward in the rest of the episodes after this episode. Like, there's going to be more big reveals beyond just what you just saw in episode 4. And by God, they're correct. Like, oh my God. So let's not get straight away into the big things. Of course, that's what everyone's talking about right now. But first off, I want to say, if you're watching this, like, there are spoilers in these reviews, which, if you're watching this and you plan on watching the show, don't watch this, because you're going to get things spoiled for you pretty badly. And I promise you, if you don't want spoilers, do not watch this, because this is a bit of a doozy of a spoiler I'm going to be talking about at some point. So if you want to watch the show and don't want spoilers, why are you watching this? Don't click away now. Just get out. Just get going. Get gone. So, yeah. Anyway, so my throat's a little bit sore. Not sore, just like dry. Give me a second. Alright, sorry about that cut. I just needed some water. Anyways, so let's get into this episode. So this episode, we're now in the 80s era of TV and television. So this episode's very much like Family Ties, what I heard a lot of people say. There's like some, I think there's some Full House references in here, which I imagine there has to be some kind of Full House reference, because Elizabeth Olsen, sister to the Olsen twins, so there has to be some kind of reference there, so yeah. Of course, the new intro that looks like Family Ties. I've never seen that show, but apparently it's like Family Ties, which gave us some fun images of Baby Vision, which are just funny. Anyway, so of course the episode starts off like we see, of course, like Wanda and Vision's babies, now Billy and Tommy, and of course, what? Sorry. Anyway, so of course we've seen the episode that Wanda, like, she can't really control her powers, like she can't really use her powers on her kids. Like she tries, like, because they're crying and whining while she's trying to get them to go to sleep. Excuse me. And she can't use her powers on them. She's like, why is it not working? And then so, which is, I think, also starting to show more sign of how Wanda is sort of losing control of her powers. Because I talked about this in the episode 3 review, where she tried getting rid of that stork, but she couldn't. So I'm wondering, this is probably more of her, like, not being able to control her powers a bit. Like, she can still control them very well, but some aspects she can't, because she couldn't get them to go to sleep. Or it might be because one of her kids, like, has powers similar to hers, and that's why. I don't know. But so in the episode, they grow up to the age of 5 magically now, because they have that power. Because, for context, also in the comics, their sons, Billy and Tommy, they are superheroes. I mentioned this before in prior reviews. In the comics, they're members of the Young Avengers. In the comics, I think, I forget who was who. Like, one of them was named Wiccan, and the other's name was Speed. So Speed was obviously got, you know, Quicksilver kind of powers, and Wiccan's much like Wanda. So Wanda, I forget who's who. I'm not memorizing yet. But so either Billy or Tommy has the powers to kind of age themselves up. So there's that. And as this episode goes on, we're starting to see, like, Vision. Like, a big part of this episode is Vision starting to see a lot of the cracks and, like, confusing parts of this world. Like, of course, Agnes comes in offering, you know, to watch over the kids, or wants to, like, hold one of the babies, and Vision's kind of like, oh no, wash your hands, do all these things first, like, be careful, and doesn't want to hold the kids. And then Agnes turns to Wanda and goes, you want to do that again? And she's like, what? Like, you want to do it again, like, hold the babies? So, like, she's like an actor, she's like, you want to redo the scene? And she's core, like, first confused, and she's like, yeah, you know, Vision, yeah, come on, Vision, let her hold the babies. And Vision's like, what? Like, what's going on? And, like, she does, and it takes care of them a bit, and Vision's now starting to question Wanda, like, you didn't see, like, what was that just happened a second ago? Like, why was she, like, what's going on there? Like, so there's a lot of crazy stuff like that is happening now, and it gets crazier, of course. So there was that. The episode keeps going on, and as I assumed and predicted from last episode, that from going forward we will be jumping between, you know, Wanda and Vision and their sitcom reality and to the real world outside with Jimmy and Darcy and Monica. And so, of course, we go to the real world, and we start seeing, you know, they're starting to establish more of the situation about what's going on out there, you know, and, like, this one guy, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., whose name he's escaping me right now, it's like Haywood or something, I think. I'll just put it in the screen, up here in the screen right now, because his name escapes me in the moment. But we're starting to see he's, like, a bit of a shady, he's a dick, as what Darcy says in the episode, but a bit of a shady, interesting guy, because all of a sudden now he feels obliged to share some information regarding Wanda and Vision that could have been helpful at the start of the situation, because, like, we see, he shows footage from Wanda breaking into SWORD headquarters like 9 days ago and acquiring the Vision's body. So they're actually showing now that scene that Paul Bettany had talked about that they had planned for Avengers Endgame, but they never shot, of course, and they're actually showing it here now. So, Sword took Vision's body, which I find... I'm not sure why they took his body. Like, wouldn't, like, the Avengers take his body and bury it or something? I don't really know, but who knows. So she takes Vision's body, and then, like, which happened apparently 9 days ago, so this happened. So, from what we know is that this show is taking place 4 weeks after Endgame, so it took her at least 4 weeks to find Vision's body, and 9 days pass, like, 9 days occurred before the start of this show, where Wanda got his body, and probably also got all the other people, you know, hostage in there. And of course, the director guy, he's, like, making points like, oh, she's not a good person. She started out as a bad guy against the Avengers, and, like, she also caused the incident at Lagos, which created the Sokovia Accords. And he also starts to question Jimmy Woo, like, does she have an alias, like a weird name or something like that? And he's like, not that I know of. So they're starting to tease she'll get her name Scarlet Witch soon, which shall be exciting. And we also learned some other interesting things about Sokovia Accords regarding Vision. We learned that, of course, they discuss, of course, how Vision is dead still. Of course, we know that because they have the footage of his dead body. And they're discussing how, like, this is going against Vision's living will in his accords or whatever, or his kind of will. Because apparently Vision did not want to be used as a weapon, and he apparently didn't want the Avengers to bring him back to life if he did die. So apparently if he died, he wanted to stay dead, and he didn't want to be used as a weapon of sorts, or something like that. So she's basically, but anyway, she's going against his will, where he did not want to be brought back to life if he was killed during the events, or at any point during his time. So he didn't want to be brought back to life, but Wanda is going against his best wishes. So we're starting to really tease Wanda as a villain of sorts, because then, of course, later on, which we'll get to that in a sec, because we see other parts with their kids, like they've adopted a dog. Well, they found a stray dog on the streets, and they named him Sparky, which is also a thing from the comics. There was a Vision run that's similar to this show, where Vision had his own little robot family living in suburbia. They had a little dog named Sparky, and there was a robot too. So of course, they let him keep the kid, but they're like saying, Vision makes Wanda agree with him that, oh no, we can't let them have a dog or take care of one until they're at least 10 years old. And they're like, okay, so then they grow to the age of 10 years old now, so you're getting a good idea what their powers are. And we start seeing a lot of other weird things with Wanda. Like, we start seeing she's now kind of openly, like, showing her powers while Agnes is nearby. And Vision's like, what are you doing, Wanda? She's right there. She could have seen what you just did. So Vision's starting to really get confused by why she's doing this, but Agnes also, she sees, like, Billy and Tommy grow up to the age of 10 and doesn't question it. She just makes a joke like, let's hope they don't keep growing or else we'll never be able to take care of them. She makes some kind of passing joke to it, but she makes no actual comment like what is going on there. So, leading to a lot of speculation still that she could be Agatha Harkness, or she knows what's potentially going on still. And as we keep going on, of course, at some point, you know, as Monica Rambeau and Jimmy Woo and Darcy, they figure out that her clothes that she had on, like her 70s clothes she had on, was actually her caviar vest and bullet and you know, her sword uniform that she had on when she first went into the dome, and Wanda actually morphed it into these 70s clothing, establishing that, like, she has, like, really powerful reality warping powers and stuff. So, and they established that it's bulletproof, so they realized that, you know, they devised a plan to get back, or at least sort of get back into the dome, where they realized, you know, if something's already changed, or it already is like that certain era, they can get it into the dome. So they send this old 80s drone inside the dome to investigate what's going on, but this director guy, he secretly armed it with some kind of missile thing and attacked, was going to kill Wanda with it. But Wanda, of course, that's when we get this awesome scene where she takes out the drone and comes out outside the dome, and now in her Scarlet Witch uniform, and also jumps back into her Sokovian accent, which she did briefly in, like, episode 3, but, like, it's weird to see her talk a little bit more in her accent, because she kind of, like, they kind of dropped it by Infinity War, so, like, but it's cool, though. And she starts telling him, like, leave us alone, leave me alone, and, like, they're trying to talk her down, Monica's trying to talk her down, but she's like, I have everything I want here. And she starts establishing more of her powers, because, like, they all have guns trained on her just in case, like, if something happens. But she uses her rally warping powers to, like, mess with their minds a bit and make them all turn their guns toward Haywood and stuff, and she goes back into the field. I like how I keep calling him Haywood, and that's probably not his name, so who knows. And it's also a scene that everyone online is saying how it's a reference to the first X-Men movie with Magneto, where there's a scene where he actually took all these cops' guns and, like, pointed them towards them. So I guess that it can be a reference to that, so very fitting. And as the episode goes on, we see Vision is really starting to pick into this reality, noticing there's something really fishy going on here. Like, we see him at work, and they accidentally receive because they're working on computers now, because now they're in the 80s, so their job, they're starting to get computers, and they somehow accidentally receive an email from Darcy, from SOAR, and like everyone starts reading it like at the same time, and Vision's like, what? And then he turns off the computer, and then he goes into his friend Norm's head, and like somehow he turns off like this. Well, that's right. He disconnects him from the reality, I guess, for the time being, and like now he's back to his normal self. He's not under the brainwashing, and he's like starting to go panicky, like, whoa, what's happened? Like, where's my wife? I need to tell my wife and my family. Like, yeah, stop her. And he's telling her, like, who? Stop who? Stop her, man. She's like, yeah, stop. I can't take it. And then he replugs him back into this reality, so he's not like freaking out a lot. But now he's super confused, and it's very interesting. And apparently, actually, I remember watching an Easter egg video. They referenced this in the prior episode, this scene, because when they were first establishing, when SWORD and FBI were first like establishing who everyone is in the dome, like seeing all their actual real personalities. On the person playing Norm's not his actual name, but that's his character name in the show, in Wanda's reality. On his little file sheet, they have a part there that mentions that Vision did this to him, but we had not seen that yet until this episode. So it's I'm not sure that was like a production error, or they somehow saw that before we did, which I don't think that's the case. I don't really know. It must be a production error, because that's a very, very weird thing that have there. So yeah. And as the episode goes on, of course, also we see their dog Sparky die, because he actually ran and ate some plants, some of Agnes's plants, which apparently I learned are plants that are poisonous to dogs in real life. And they're very sad now that the kids are grieving, and they at first agree to like age up again to like teenagehood probably, or somehow get older so they can at least get past this like sadness of their life. But Wanda convinces them, no, don't age yourselves back up. And we get to the part where she tells them how we can't, and they tell her like you can, come on mom, you can bring back the dead, that's your powers, which leads to a very interesting scene where first off Agnes is like, wait, you can do that? Which we've already established that very obviously Agnes is aware of what's going on a bit, because she's not freaked out by the kids aging themselves up in under a second. But she's somehow surprised by that she can bring back the dead, potentially. So that's very interesting, because we know there's a scene from the trailers where Vision like unlocks her mind as well, and she's like first wondering what's going on for a bit. So, I mean, who knows? There's still mystery to that. But she tells her kids, like Wanda tells them that, I can't bring back the dead. I just can't. Like sometimes things happen, and we just have to kind of live with it. So she's establishing to herself and to the audience that I can't bring back the dead. So letting you all know, yes, Vision is dead, but there's still potential that he could come back, because we know that if things leave this reality, they stay the same in the real world. So since she's kind of like morphed his body back to life in a sense, so it's possible he could come back to life. But she's establishing that the dead can't come back to life. That's what she's saying. And, which leads us to, like, the ending of the episode where stuff gets really crazy. And so Vision starts telling Wanda about how, I talked to Norm, I unlocked his mind from your brainwashing and learned what you're doing here. So he starts immediately questioning her, like, Wanda, like, this is not right. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, I know what's going on here. So something not right. You're controlling these people. And you can't control me like you control them. And then she starts rolling the credits saying, oh, can't I? And then she starts rolling the credits like trying to end the episode. But he's still talking through the credits like, no, we're not done here, Wanda. And it's very funny. Then they go into the next room, and of course the credits stop now, and now Vision's back to his regular form, and he's like, and now she's shouting at Wanda, questioning, like demanding, what's going on here? You can't trap all these people here. Like, I don't remember my life like before we were in here. And like, why do I go to work every day and never see kids at the playground or anywhere? There's no kids in this world. And like, he's really starting to question her. And like, it's very interesting, because he said how you can't control them how you control me, which she tries to by ending the episode, but with the credits. But then he still argued with her and questioning her, like, what's going on? And it's funny because in episode 3 we saw, when he started wondering, there's something a little bit wrong here, Wanda. She was able to rewind the episode into a double take and change it, so he's like, nothing, whatever. But now she can't. He's now just like, just like what's the right word? I don't know. But he's not like questioning her like heavy now. Like, so what is going on here? I don't know anything. So I still think this is part of my theory that she's losing a bit of a control of her powers the more this goes on, because now all of a sudden she can't get Vision to stop questioning about this. So that's definitely something interesting to talk about. And she tells Vision that I have no idea. I'm not doing any of this. I'm not sure why this is or what's going on. So, and a lot of people are speculating that she sounded genuine in that, saying I don't know how this began. So, which it's possible. I mean, I don't know. I'm still on the impression that she did create this reality and she has trapped these people in this bubble or this hexagon of sorts. And so yeah, I just remembered something from earlier in the episode that I'm going to talk about also. It's a good thing. So it's possible she might. I'm still thinking she probably did create this, but there's possibly Agatha Harkness probably did something, if it is Agatha Harkness, or maybe Mephisto, because there's a lot of theories about Mephisto. But I don't know. I'm not really believing the Mephisto thing, and I'm not really sure where those theories are coming from about Mephisto. But who knows? Maybe Agatha did this, or Wanda. I'm still believing it's Wanda who created this reality of sorts. So, but then of course it leads to the big thing that happens in the episode, which is insane. So of course the doorbell rings and you think it's Agnes again, and she says, I didn't do that, and like Vision's like, yeah, I don't believe you, because he thinks that she did get the doorbell rings to stop this conversation. So she goes to the door and she opens it, and she has a big shocked reaction on her, like, what? And they really build it up. They cut back to the real world where there's alarms going off and Darcy's running through her computer to see what's happening in the show. And then we start seeing we zoom out to the back of the person's head at the door, and it's not Agnes. It's actually, we see gray hair. It's obviously your brother Pietro, Quicksilver, but it's not the Avengers Quicksilver. It's the X-Men Quicksilver. It's Evan Peters, I was like, wait, what? Which I had talked about my prior review that I heard a rumor that he was possibly in the show, but this still shocked me. I'm like, wait, what? Because this is such a big deal. I remember prior, only a few days ago, Elizabeth Olsen, I'm about to call her Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen said that, also spoilers for The Mandalorian, by the way. If you don't want spoilers for that, just in case, skip to this time code here if you don't want spoilers, so skip to that time code. But Elizabeth Olsen had said that in WandaVision there's going to be a cameo that's going to be on par with the cameo of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. So some real big cameo that's going to have a big significance in WandaVision is going to happen. And I would not be surprised if it's this. I mean, there's some speculation that there's still another big cameo going to happen, which potentially there might be because some other things also. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was the big cameo she's talking about, because this is a big deal, because not just because it's Quicksilver, but it's the other Quicksilver from the other movie franchise. And even it's not even like a thing where they recast Aaron Taylor Johnson with Evan Peters because Evan Peters is more like Quicksilver. No, they call out that, Darcy calls out, wait, they recast Pietro? So it's not, they're letting the audience know, yes, this is not the right Pietro, this is a different person as Pietro. So, implying a whole bunch of things now. So, I think my theory is coming true, that my theory that I talked about in the last review also, I think, is that Wanda accidentally, unknowingly, ripped open the multiverse and yanked that Quicksilver into their world. Because in the episode they were talking about, her kids asked her, do you have a brother, Mom? And she's like, I did, and he's gone now. And they referenced him there, and they referenced him in the prior episode as well. So all the references were implying, okay, Pietro's probably going to show up in some form. And so it's very interesting. And so I figured that Wanda thinking about Pietro, this is what I'm thinking. She was thinking about Pietro in the episode when they asked about her if she had a brother, and when she started thinking about Pietro, then she tried actually reviving him from the dead, seeing, can I do this with Pietro like I did with Vision? And she probably couldn't, so that's why she told her kids, I can't bring back the dead. So that's why I think she said that. But by doing so, she accidentally opened the multiverse and brought Evan Peters Quicksilver to this universe. Now he's brainwashed like everyone else, which this will lead into Doctor Strange's Multiverse Madness, and also lead into Spider-Man 3 also. So it's insane, because also it's obvious from the episode that this Quicksilver is the X-Men Quicksilver, because not just because of Evan Peters, but also his mannerism and his personality is very much like that Quicksilver from the X-Men film. So I mean, it's insane. And also, because if it is him from the X-Men movies, then that's our first mutant in the MCU, which is, like, just so many things are happening from, like, him showing up now. It's insane. Like, oh my god, it's just, I really can't wait for next episode, because honestly, holy crap, like, what's gonna go down? Like, and I do think we're still gonna see Aaron Taylor Johnson Quicksilver, because in the trailers there was a scene of Wanda in a gray suit with the Mind Stone that resembled like the gray suit she wore in that after credit scene from Winter Soldier, her and Quicksilver, when they were being experimented on by Hydra back in from the beginning. So I feel like we're going to see a flashback scene to them getting their powers, like her and Pietro, and I think there we'll see Aaron Taylor Johnson potentially. But I think it'll happen. That will happen. We'll see a flashback scene to them. So that'll be fun. There's also the factor that Wanda, when she first sees Quicksilver or Pietro, she looks at him like a bit confused at first, like, Pietro? Like, either like she's in shock that he's alive, or in shock like, wait, is this Pietro? Because she's confused. That's what it looked like, but then she hugs him, embraces him, like, okay, this is Pietro. But, I don't know, it looks like she didn't quite understand, like, wait, is this my brother? Like, it's very interesting. I mean, I've seen theories that this might be Mephisto. But like I said a few minutes ago, like I'm not exactly sure about the Mephisto theory, because I'm not entirely sure where that comes from. I mean, I can probably see the ideas, because like he does do a lot of reality warping stuff, like tied to Doctor Strange possibly. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure where these Mephisto rumors come from or theories, but I don't know. So I mean, maybe she recognized him or didn't recognize him at first, but then embraces him. So I don't know. It's very interesting. We're gonna definitely have to learn to see what else comes in the next episode. The other thing I wanted to mention earlier in the episode is that, you know, like, Jimmy, Monica, and Darcy, they were all talking about the whole Hex prom, establishing that, you know, Wanda's kids, they are her own, she made them and stuff, and they started talking about stuff like, you know, Wanda could have single-handedly taken down Thanos if he didn't, you know, like, bombard the battlefield out of nowhere. And Jimmy makes a comment saying how, yeah, I think Captain Marvel's pretty close too. And Monica makes a face like she's kind of, like, not happy mentioning Captain Marvel or brought her up, so it's leading to some theories that there's some drama between the two of them, like there's something potentially happened between, we don't really know, like it's very interesting, because we know Monica Rambeau will be in Captain Marvel too, so it's interesting, they'll probably explain that in that film, but I'm interested in seeing what that could be. But also in the episode she mentions how there's an astrophysicist that she knows might want to help out with trying to get inside the dome and stuff. And there's a lot of theories that who that could be. I definitely think it's going to be some kind of character from the comics, like some people are theorizing, oh, Reed Richards maybe this is how the Fantastic Four come in, with the possibility. I don't know, I'm not really sure who it could be. There's a lot of theories out there who this astrophysicist could be. It's very exciting. But yeah, I think that's about all I've covered, really. Yeah, I've covered all the important things. But yeah, overall, I give this episode a 9 out of 10, like my highest rating so far for the show. It's like this show is getting really good. Like this is a fantastic episode, and this is episode 5, so we have only 4 episodes left now, or potentially 5 episodes left now, because there's rumors about a potential 10th bonus episode at the end. But so far there's only 9 episodes, so 4 currently left as we know of. So we're definitely starting to get into the nitty gritty of the story. So I really can't wait to see what's going to happen next. It's very exciting. Like this whole Quicksilver thing is so, like, anything can happen now. Like we could potentially see his X-Men characters come into Multiverse of Madness. Like it's insane. Like this is a big deal. Like, and I want to know how long have I had that planned for? Because Disney bought Fox somewhere like back in 2019 March, something like that. So how long have they had this ready or planned? I want to know, because there's no way they could have used Evan Peters' Quicksilver before they had the rights to the X-Men. So I don't know, but whatever. Who cares? But it's such a big deal. I can't wait to see what happens next. Because even Vision kind of has to look like, wait, is that Pietro? Because I know he has no memories about what happened about his life beforehand, but does he still remember Pietro? He's met Pietro. So is he? I'm wondering if he actually wonders or notices that, wait, that's not your brother. That's some other guy entirely. I mean, there's also the theories that Pietro, this possibly is just Evan Peters playing some other guy. Like maybe you want to just recast Max, not Pietro, recast Pietro with some other guy, saying like, okay, I can't bring back Pietro, so here's just some random dude. But I don't think it's some random dude, because like why would you get Evan Peters if it's not his Quicksilver? Like, it's no way if it's not his If it's not, like, that's gonna be disappointing. But still, there's no way. No way it's not his Quicksilver. So I'm excited to see where this goes. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Tell me in the comment section down below what did you think of this episode. I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all guys next week for episode 6 of WandaVision. So yeah, I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.